Hi, Doug Hogarth here, and welcome back. Ever wondered what culture is? According to the Oxford Dictionary, it's the ideas, customs, and social behaviour of a particular person or society. Many of us have developed their own work cultures, but when do we recognise the need for change, and how do we do it? With the benefit of hindsight, here's my views and examples on the matter. But remember, if your directors forfeit leadership, then forget it and move on to your next challenge. If they support it, identify who will lead it. Hopefully, it will be them. The great AFL coach once described culture as it's what you do when no one tells you what to do. And with his coaching credentials, he should know. Because that's exactly what he did with the Brisbane Lions between 2001 and 2003. But he didn't do it on his own. He led the cultural change. Some may argue this is initiative, but I disagree. It's culture. Why? Because in my experience, you never see initiative when someone is always telling you what to do. Why? Because in this case, initiative will be viewed as resistance or at odds with the instructions being issued. To drive change, you need to drive cultural change. The honour rolls of many sporting clubs, private schools, institutions and corporates always recognise those that contributed to their foundation, development and existence, and often the same names appear year after year. You have a certain culture when you have a certain group of people. When they are no longer there, usually the culture changes. The AFL example is that of where the cultural change had a positive outcome, whereas the cultural change example next is a negative outcome. According to the Australian Financial Review in 2022, the Federal Court found that a Tier 1 builder broke competition laws by dumping a contractor because it was not on a list of union-approved companies handed to it under a CFMEU letterhead. Justice Kyle Downs found that the company did so because it wanted a quiet life with the union. Restricting its suppliers, and as ACCC Chairman Rod Sims noted, pushing up building costs. Breaking the law to get what it wants is the CFMEU's business model. But what's worse is that it does so with the protection of the law, which gives unions monopoly rights to represent workers. In my experience, when immoral and unethical business practices like that above continue unabated, corruption soon follows. Clearly, this culture is what you do when someone tells you what to do. Those with influence and leadership responsibilities can realise cultural change. You won't win the Victoria Cross, but you will win the hearts and minds for cultural change, and that's the key. When Leigh Matthews arrived at the Brisbane Lions at the end of the 1998 season, he won the hearts and minds of the players, administrators and supporters by educating and coaching them to succeed and believe that underdogs can win. The strength of this 1998 cultural change has stood the test of time, evident by the fact that 7 ex-players from that era are now either senior or assistant AFL coaches. That's almost 40% of the competition. Clearly, it's not the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. In just 3 years, Leigh Matthews transformed the club from wooden spooners to triple AFL premiers between 2001 and 2003 and developed future leaders for the next generation. We all know that people favour the underdogs, but only follow the top dogs. So if you want change and want to be the top dog, then lead a cultural change like Leigh Matthews. Thank you for your time.